Wait, you got Tim Story to direct the new Shaft movie? Shaft 2019, directed by Tim Story, the man that directed the first two Fantastic Four movies that Fox made. You know, those Fantastic Four movies that starred Owen Gufford, Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis, and Chris Evans. Those two Fantastic Four movies that sucked. Because that's such a great idea to make a third Shaft movie directed by Tim Story. Yeah, really? Anyway, this movie stars Samuel L. Jackson as John Shaft Jr. or John Shaft II, Jesse T. Usher, who was the little boy in Independence Day. Now all grown up, he plays John Shaft III. Richard Roundtree, the original Shaft of the 1971 movie, shows up in this movie now as an old man. Regina Hall plays Maya, John Shaft Jr.'s ex-wife. Alexandria Shipp plays Sasha, the love interest to John Shaft III. Method Man plays Freddie P., our villain. And that's pretty much the cast. The plot of this movie starts at the point where John Shaft III is a baby. John Shaft Jr. decides to break up with his ex-wife Maya, played by Regina Hall, because Maya believes that Shaft Jr.'s life is way too dangerous to raise a son in. And she feels the safest thing to do, the best thing for their son, is to divorce Shaft Jr. and raise Shaft III, never knowing who his father really is, because it may be too dangerous for him to find out. When Shaft III gets all grown up, he becomes an FBI data analyst. He has a crush on a young doctor named Sasha, played by Alexandria Shipp, and one of his best friends gets killed, a veteran who runs this Veterans Help Center. Shaft III believes that it was murder, even though the death looks like a drug overdose. He totally does not believe that it was a drug overdose because of how the heroin intake was done. And when Sasha takes a look at the autopsy report, she believes the same thing, that the death of Shaft III's best friend is a murder. John Shaft III's superior at the FBI doesn't want him to investigate this crime because it is connected to a sting operation that the FBI is doing that they don't want to be compromised, and they see Shaft III as a rookie. They don't want him to get involved because they believe that he could ruin the whole operation. But he wants to find out who killed his best friend. So he goes to his father, Shaft Jr., since he's a private investigator, to find out who killed his best friend. Since his mother the only thing his mother told him was that he was a private investigator. And Shaft III believes that his father could find out who is the killer. And the investigation starts to lead to one of Shaft Jr.'s old enemies from his past. And that's pretty much our film. Now, I love the first Shaft movie from the 1970s. I think that's a classic film. And the Shaft 2000 movie that starred Samuel L. Jackson was a pretty good follow-up. I actually liked the movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie, and Samuel L. Jackson did a great job playing the son of Richard Roundtree's Shaft. So when I heard that there was going to be a third movie now 20 years later, I thought, well, this might be an interesting idea. We got Samuel L. Jackson and Richard Roundtree back, and Jesse T. Usher is a good actor. This might make a good movie. But when I got into the theater and I saw that Tim Story was directing, I thought, oh boy, this might not be good. And unfortunately, the movie is not as good as I hoped it was going to be. Let's get into the positives of this movie first. Samuel L. Jackson is great as Shaft Jr. He really does a great job playing this character, of course. When you see Richard Roundtree show up, he's great in the movie. Jesse T. Usher does a really good job in the film playing the lead. His character is a bit of a wimp, and his father teaches him how to man up, which is pretty funny. Alexandra Shipp playing the love interest to Shaft III is pretty good. They have some very good chemistry. And the scenes you get with Regina Hall are done pretty well. She does a very good job as the ex-wife. But let's get into the problems with this movie. First off, the comedy is very forced. Some of the jokes are funny, but not all of the jokes are funny. And the jokes could have been written much better. But then again, this is Tim Story we're talking about. He's not a very good director. Another problem with this movie is they really don't develop the villain very well. You don't meet the villain until like the climax of the movie. And I was like wondering, how is this villain really all that good if you don't really develop the character all that much and you don't give the villain enough screen time? Really? And the final problem with this movie is with our two mentors, Shaft Jr. and Shaft Sr. When you really think about it, these two characters are kind of outdated for today's time and today's culture, really. Their style really doesn't work now, and the way Shaft Jr. is teaching Shaft III to man up doesn't totally work within today's culture, really, or maybe it does. I suppose it's all on how you look at it. But overall, this movie is just not that good. I really wanted to like this movie. There were some parts where I did like it, but overall, I do think that it's pretty much just a rental, really. I'm gonna give this movie a C. I think if you want to see it, I say wait until Redbox or one of the streaming service gets it. And that's all I gotta say for Shaft 2019. Damn right.